What's going on, fragrance family? It's your man Gator, better known as the Novice Nose, out here in these fragrance streets. Man, it is late night tonight, man. I'm just getting in. It has been a long day, a prosperous day, but it has been a long day, man. But I wanted to kind of share some thoughts while they were fresh on my mind about a particular fragrance that I've been kind of, experimenting with the last couple of weeks or so. Now, the fragrance in question is this one. This one, and I guess you guys call this my full review here. This one is Azzure Aoud. This is another Frenchavenue banger. And speaking of banging, I don't know if you heard just now, I hate this particular Frenchavenue box design. As you know, they had this same design with the liquid Brune. As a matter of fact, it looks just like the liquid Brune box, and the bottle looks just like the liquid Brune bottle. But for some reason, they didn't strap this particular fragrance when they do it. So when you open it, you heard that boom, it just kind of falls out. Now, this one didn't fall as much out of the box, but I'll push it so the imprint in there again. As you can see, it kind of like opens up like this. That's how it's supposed to sit, but you see how it's kind of scalloped right there? Like the fragrance will just rattle around in there. But enough about the boxing. Y'all already know I hate this particular style of box. Now, the fragrance in question, though, is this one right here. This is Frenchavenue's Azzure Aoud. See if it'll give me some, or act right as far as the focus. But this is an inspiration of Maison Crivelli's Oud Maruja. Now, Oud Maruja was kind of like a TikTok storm earlier this year, man. Anyway, Oud Maruja is an interesting fragrance because it combines that real funky animalic oud fragrance, like they call a barnyard type of oud, with an interesting fruit note, passion fruit, which maracuja actually means passion fruit. So as I said earlier, it just kind of took the TikTok world by storm. People were like, oh my God, this is just the greatest thing since sliced bread. Actually, I think the only reason that happened was because it was a lot of those TikTok fragrance lovers' introduction to a niche product. Now, Oud Maruja is an interesting fragrance. It is, if you don't like oud, it is not the fragrance for you. It is very artistically done. It is a beautiful fragrance. I love the passion fruit in there. I love that oud. I love the way that they integrate that. I was interested when I heard that, Frenchavenue was going to have a version of that particular fragrance. So, are they one-to-one? I think in the dry down they get real close. So let me get into the progressions of this. And actually, before I even do that, let me give you the notes on it. So the notes on the fragrance are fruity notes, rose, passion fruit, and saffron. That saffron plays a lot on the leather kind of gives it that more textured feeling. So middle notes are oud, benzoin, and patchouli. And then the base notes are guaiac wood, ladanum, leather, vanilla, cedarwood, sandalwood, and amber. So when you first spray this on, it gives you this, I don't even know if strong is the best way to put it. It gives you this blast of oud, like that funky barnyard type of oud. It comes off a little bit more synthetic than in the OG, but not by much. I mean, that little tinge of syntheticness goes away really, really quickly. At the same time, you're getting a good bit of passion fruit in that first spray. Now, I'm gonna kind of go over the differences between the OG and between this one and the OG, which I have right here. So one of the first things that I noticed with this one is when you spray it on, you get more of the oud than you do of the passion fruit. And in the OG, you get more of a blast of that passion fruit. You get more of that realistic passion fruit note up top, and it gives almost like a little bit of a juiciness to it when it sprays on. You do get the oud, but it's suppressed. You get mostly passion fruit, and it kind of transitions into becoming a more strong, more oudy type of scent into that initial dry down. This one does the opposite. This one actually is very oudy at the blast, and then it does something weird. It goes into the passion fruit later into the dry down. So I get more passion fruit from this particular fragrance later in the dry down than I do at the top of the dry down. So that's an interesting thing. It just basically, I think it's the way that this one is blended. It could be the way that it's blended, but it also could be the quality of the oils that are used. Now, don't get me wrong, this is not low quality at all. As far as the oils are concerned, this is, and I'm not putting this back on skin because it will stay on skin. That's a whole nother part of this review, but so you get, like I said, you get some of the passion fruit, but you get a bigger blast of the oud on this one than you do on the OG. The OG, you get more of the passion fruit, and then you transition into the oud. Now, as you get like 5 to 10 minutes into the dry down, they really become the same thing. You're looking at pretty much the same fragrance. I do feel like this one is a little flatter than the OG. I think the OG is a little bit brighter as far, and it could be, like I said, because you're getting a bigger dose of that passion fruit at the top, or it's a different, more natural, better quality passion fruit, and maybe that's why it feels brighter at the top. But it definitely is a difference in the brightness of the fragrance, at least in the initial sprays and into the initial dry down. I would say that lasts probably about, maybe 15 to 20 minutes in, and then the fragrances kind of become indistinctive of each other. So they really do start to match, and you really get Oud Maracuja in that 20 to 30 minute dry down of this particular fragrance. I'm talking about the pure Oud Maracuja, so it presents very, very well. And then somewhere in that range of about the 3 to 4 hour mark, I started getting more passion fruit all of a sudden. It's almost like the oud started to secede and go away, and then I started getting more of the passion fruit. And I did notice that it began to transition. The woodiness began to transition from more of this deep, dark oud into the gaiac wood type of oud, where it was really just dry and smoky. So I guess that's why I started to pick up more of the passion fruit. Now in the OG, it's not like that. In the OG, like I said, it goes from the brightness and slowly transitions into that deep dark oud. Now as it gets into the later dry down on the OG, you do start to pick up a little bit more of that dry cedar and gaiac wood, but it's a little bit farther, maybe about that 6-7 hour mark into the dry down. That's really the only big differences between the two. This one is a very, very good close interpretation. Like I said, the biggest difference is the inversion of how that fragrance first presents on the initial spray, but in the mids it's basically the same fragrance. And then, like I said, towards the dry down, you start getting a little bit more of that passion fruit out of this one, and then it's and like I said, I think that has to do more with the quality of the oils that are being used. This is a monster as far as longevity. It's just like the OG. The OG lasts, 12 hours. This one, I would probably, it's going 8 strong right now. I wore this not too long ago. and it kind of did the same thing. I got about 10 hours out of it. So this one is a beast as far as performance goes. It goes and goes for a while, so keep that in mind. I will say though, guys, and sillage is great on this one as well too. You definitely floats in the air, and you pick up that on you for a while. Projection wise, it is a beast of a projector, probably for about 4 or 5 hours, and then it kind of slowly kind of forms like a 2 to 3 foot radius bubble around you after that. I will say that this is another one, guys, that, and I mentioned this with the Atlas video, this is another one that is done specifically for the art of fragrance. Oud Maracuja was done for the art of that blend, and to make something that was artistically beautiful and a testament to the artistry of the creativity of the perfumer. This one is a replica of that, so I'm going to put this in the same wheelhouse and category. If you do not like oud fragrances, do not buy this. I don't care how sexy some reviewer says it is, or how beautiful some guy on YouTube is telling you that this particular fragrance is. I think it's beautiful, don't get me wrong, but this is not a blind buy worthy type of fragrance. It really isn't. I would say, if you're going to get this, before you do, get a sample of this or get a sample of Oud Maracuja, and then determine whether or not you want to get this. I will discourage you from blind buying this, because this is another one that I see hyped up online a whole lot right now. I see people that are, literally like, oh, you gotta get this, you gotta get this. Oh, this is sex in a bottle. This is. You wear this to work and see what happens. You wear this on a date, a first date, and see what happens. It's not a mass appealing type of DNA. It is a beautiful DNA, but you got to know how to wear it. You got to know when to wear it. If you don't know those things and you walk into this blind when you buy this particular fragrance, you will definitely regret buying this fragrance. Just be advised that you have to like those barnyard type ouds. I'm not talking about that, that light oud or that entry level type of oud. You have to like real oud. But if you do, and you want something that's going to be kind of unique, this is the way to go. I get a lot of comparison between the OG2 and Ombre Nomad. I can see those comparisons definitely, although I feel like Ombre Nomad has more of a saffron type of feel to it. The leather is more prominent in that one. This one has leather, but the oud is the superstar, so I would say they are different. The passion fruit plays differently than the raspberry, the fruit notes in there in Ombre Nomad, so they aren't the same fragrance. Again, maybe distant cousins, but they're definitely not the same fragrance. But yeah, guys, buyer beware on this. You're gonna see a lot of people hyping it up online. Don't fall for the hype. Get a sample first, because if you don't, you might just regret it. But if you love the artistry of fragrances, this is gonna be your new boo right here. That's all I got for you guys today. Make sure, have you tried this fragrance yet? Let me know if you have in the comments. Also, make sure that you like the video, subscribe to the channel, man, and make sure you share this video with someone you know that loves fragrance. Until the next time, guys, that's all I got. Peace out.